Um, Good morning, guys. It's your boy once again, only one number. So this is basically go through the two. I took these buys from here. I took these buys from here. Okay, and currently I was taking another buys, and I just stopped out. All right. Basically, I don't know. I told you guys that regardless of any strategy you use, anything can happen. There is nothing like a holy grail strategy. There is nothing like that. All right. There is nothing like that. So the reason why I took this trade, let's go back. Yep, I think okay. This was the point, right? I mean, let us go back and see. So the reason why I took this trade, right? First of all, I told you guys that whatever strategy you are using, just pay attention to price. It's just we are trading. We are not predicting or anything. We are trading, meaning that trading means what? Buying and selling. So let's say something. Let me give you an analogy. So assuming you come to market today, for example, you want to buy a pair of sneakers, all right, a pair of sneakers, and you bought a pair of sneakers at 200, right? You bought this pair of sneakers at 200, and then boom, what happened? This skyrocketed to 250, 220, 300, 280, 400. Kind of getting to 1000, right? And then unfortunately, it started dropping. This drop that is happening, what is it telling you that, oh, people that this move now, people have made profit and they are ready to do what? To sell off. You understand? People bought something in the pair of shoe, and when since this thing has gone to this extent, I noticed that the market is kind of dropping. They are beginning to do what? To sell off. You understand? They are beginning to do what? To sell off. And then possibly it start dropping. For example, the market started dropping back, and then started dropping back. And then unfortunately, it tapped this zone. Remember, as a normal human being, there is no way that price comes back to this 200 that you purchased this pair of sneaker before. You'll be like, oh my god. Remember? This was the point I bought these sneakers when it was 200, and from that 200, it skyrocketed to kind of 1000. You understand? That means there is a tendency that for that thing that occurred before to happen again. So in terms of technical analysis now, that's what we call it support. So we can't just buy by blindly now. This is where technical analysis comes in. You understand? So once price bounce at this zone, this is where you learn a particular concept that anytime something like this happens, because price repeats itself over and over again. That's why I'm always telling people that even if you don't know how to trade, like if you understand the market well and you can spot good zones, and then even if it's break and retest on lower time frame that you use, in as much as you back tested hundreds to 200s to 300 of trade, and you come out 40 to for 50% with 1 is to 2.5 or 1 is to 3 RR, you are profitable long run. The only problem is discipline to continue. So we can't just come here and buy blindly like that. That is when confluence comes in. That we need something to tell us that yes, this particular zone is still ready to hold, and that is all. You understand? And that is all. You don't need too much confluence. You don't need anything. You don't need too many things to argue. So pay attention. If you notice this price action, you notice that after this price was moving, and this was the last, it bounced on this kind of, after it was moving, it bounced on this point. And after bouncing on this point like this, you notice it has been going up and up and up and up. All right, till this point. You see that after bouncing up to this point, you pushed up to this point. All right, telling you that this zone was like people buying a pair of sneakers of anything. I told you that take out this name XAUSD, take out the numbers. All charts is the same thing. I trade all charts same way. There is no difference between this thing and NZUSD, any chart at all. Just because of the only difference is the movement, the volatility, and all of that. But in terms of how you trade it, it's same thing. I told you guys if I should take out this XAUSD like this, and then let me say push this chart back in 2024, because currently you might be saying if I leave it like this, you know that this XAUSD is currently like this. But if I should, let me just take back the chart to 2024 or beginning of 2025, and then go to um any other pair like GPJ or Euro USD or anything, take it back to that point, blank, no numbers, no pair, then ask you what is the difference between this pair and this one, this chart and this chart. You won't know now. It's still what? The same candles. You understand? So why do you think that if you come to this particular chart, there will be a tendency to trade the same different way? The only thing is having an edge is also like saying that risk management, yes, there's edge for that. The way the risk in gold is different from other pairs, right? Apart from that, but based on technical analysis, is all the same. So pay attention, stick with me. So immediately price skyrocket from here, boom to the upside. All right, and I told you guys that okay, these sales now that you see that is dropping, this is telling you that people are taking what profit. People are doing what? Taking profit. And if you look your left hand side, if you pay attention, you notice that this point also was a point that price used before to drop to the downside previously. That is where price come to hit now. You understand? This zone. So after hitting this zone, I told you guys that it's either you get a confluence that man, this was going to hold, or there's then for the market to climb above and continue. Then you notice what happened. You notice after people taking a profit from this point, it started pushing and pushing and pushing. Guess what? It bounced back on that point. For example, I use 200 USD here. If you buy a pair of sneakers, for example, and then price did what? Skyrocket to $1,000, and then you notice that it started dropping to 980, 970, 90s. People are taking their profit now. But remember, as they're taking their profit, that means they are selling out. If you still get confidence for sale, you sell and catch a little bit, get profit, you get out of the market. See, people are selling, people are buying, people are selling, dropping until back to that zone, previous zone that made a push to the upside, right? So now, once price comes to this zone, you are not buying blindly. Rule number one. That is why technical analysis is advisable. All right. So basically, immediately price bounce on this point, boom. You notice what happened? It's kind of before coming there, it has been giving us a lower highs, lower low, lower highs, and then what happened? Let's go to the 1 hour chart. So you notice after the bounce. So if you notice what happened, as the sell was just dropping, they push price to this point. Immediately, the buyers still forced themselves to take control for good 4 hours. This was from here. The clue started that the buyers are coming in already for good 4 hours. Even regardless after the sellers tried to push market downward again to this point, for good 4 hours they still held their position for buys. They closed in bullish, and then notice what happened. There was like this bar was like ranging as if it ranged. This second beer bar, it ranged, and then still the third one, seller still tried to after tapping the push market tapping this point. Immediately there was a massive rejection even below this bull bar, rejected like a sweep, and then closed. Immediately a bull bar appeared. See, let me tell you something. See, regardless of anything you use, just try to understand that in this game, if anything can happen, basically anything can work. That is all. Because to me, I feel like I don't need to get too many confluences, too many, have too many solutions to a particular problem that at the end of the day is a probability. You need to relax to know that trading is something like you can't understand it in a very like should I say a short period of time, because it will test you, you will do many things. But one thing I've understand is switching strategies. Because if you've tested something and it didn't works for you, you test it and it works, sometimes it doesn't, why not try to keep on testing that particular thing, back test it over and over to see the win rate. The problem is accepting losses. That's one of the biggest problem we have. We don't want to accept losses. Why? If you learn to accept losses in this game, you notice that the trading, thing will just start going clearly. And you notice after this bull bar appeared, it break above this bear bar, telling you that once a particular candle is closing above a bear bar, is telling us that yes, the buyers are really stepping in. So what you should know is that particular point where buyers bought, where there is a tendency for something to happen, a support for something to happen, is a probability zone. A support is an eventually zone. There is no support that is not breakable. And on support, anything can happen. Consolidation can start happening there. As price is approaching your zone, what is happening? What is the finger? What is the message that the price action is passing? This is what is telling us the messages. The numbers, you can use numbers as well, but in terms of using candles, this is what is actually telling us that yes, the market is doing this, market is doing that. We can only know what the market is doing, but what the market will do, you don't know. All right, you cannot, like, it's impossible for you to know what the market will do next, even if yes, you analyze and you got it correctly. But if at all you are vividly sure, two trades sef, you've gotten Lambo. Like even if you're a newbie, like immediately you learn, you have a strategy that works, and then you say, okay, today I want to trade, and then this particular trade like this, I'm certainly sure that it's going to buy. You will load money. Like you will literally borrow from village, you will borrow from firm, you borrow from anywhere to hit money. But you don't know. All right? You don't know. But what you know is what is happening. I told you guys that if you are reading the concept of higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher high. This has happened. That's why you are reading it now. Okay, since you're doing higher high, how sure are you that this will come back and do higher low to do higher high? That's because of what? The normal analogy. But there's also a tendency that this market will just change direction and start selling to the downside. Yes, yes. Like anything can happen. That is the rules of the game. It's probability. It's just distributing wins and losses. Make sure when you win bigger. When you know, you lose just small. And that is the game. Okay? Don't think there's something secret that some people have mastered that's making them money. No. They understand that the market is uncertain. Your relationship with uncertainty is one of the things you need to look at. Which I'm always saying, your mind has been programmed to be certain about something. All right, guys, let's go to the 1 hour chart. So on the 1 hour chart, all right. So let me take out all the shit. So on the 1 hour chart, if you pay attention to the 1 hour price action, all right. So on 1 hour, paying attention to this price action, what do you see? I told you guys that you need to just relax until you start feeling the market. So you notice after price bounce on it, there was a sweep here, all right. There was a sweep of this low, and then this was around two. There was a sweep of this low, and there was like a consolidation at this point. So if you go to 15-minute chart now, you see the consolidation. So I told you guys that you just need the market to tell you, to show you what it's actually doing now. Then just take action with that particular entry model you are using. So if you notice, there was a sweep. There was a sweep like this. Let me, sorry, guys. There was something like, see, price bounce and then like a lower high, then sweep this low, and then boom to the upside. All right. So paying attention now, this was around 5. You notice after going to 15-minute chart, there was a consolidation here. Then on 1 hour, I noticed that what this price actually displayed was, yes, after tapping on this point, boom to the upside, invalidating the bear bars, the bear bars, the bear bars, telling you that yes, I'm ready to go up, but when to enter. That is when you study a particular pattern. So you notice what happened. This consolidation now that made a breakout. I said, okay, I want price to always take out the early buyers before I can enter. So you notice immediately price, you see, price bounce on this point. Some people might have bought this market from here, right? Let me just put it like this. You have buy this market from me, and then the stop loss will be below like 80 pips or here, 80 pips something, 80 pips. But I said no, I want price to take out the early buyers. If you notice what happened, I think price did that for me. Boom. You see that? Immediately I saw something like this. I said, yo, this is incredible. I said, okay. After price push like a lower high, a lower low, I said, okay, price is already on top of this point. All right, like this, on top of this resistance level, this support level that made this push of this resistance. Then notice there was a breakout, and the price should, tap here. There's a tendency for momentum to keep going to the upside, and then your stop loss should be, kind of, sorry, below this point, or so. All right, then that was when I actually plotted a trend line. I said, there's a tendency for this market to, do something like this and keep going to the upside. Some people might actually wait for price to get this point, you know, give you a sequence of to this point, and then before you buy. You understand? But anyhow, any method you are using, regardless of how it is, any method you think that works for you, they just keep using it. And that was when I said, okay, let us see how the market plays out. And the market did what? A nice trade, like a very, 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 very nice trade to the upside. And then we do what? We smash TP, like clean and clear. That was about 300 pips. Because so how I derived my TP was, I noticed, okay, if this was the last high, this particular zone, and then we'll have this point here, and I'm buying here. So since price is kind of going to break here for me, and I noticed this high was like price giving me like boom, like this, and then to drop, right? Meaning this high should not be my TP. And then that was when I look out for this low, this particular point as my TP. Yeah, that was when I get about 300 and something pips. 1:5, right? And price hit the TP. Clean. This was how I was able to call this trade. So what I'm trying to say is anything works. Don't complicate your strategy. All right? This is a very, very simple price action. Just learn to do the right things. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. More videos will be coming soon.